Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. Okay, so today we're going to use me as an example to talk about healing. Why? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I have been freaking out the last couple weeks. You know, with this pneumonia and this virus bringing back several of my longtime symptoms. Now, of course, it's only brought back about 5, but it's enough to scare me. And the ones that it brought back are 24/7 dizziness, vertigo. I feel like I'm on a ship. I feel like I'm rocking. With that comes a lot of brain fog, depersonalization, derealization, dissociation. So I feel like I'm behind glass in a bubble. I cannot place myself in space and time, right? So the rocking, not being able to place myself in space and time, having complete lack of cognitive function and brain fog, as well as complete exhaustion, chronic fatigue. So I did suffer with all of these symptoms during my long illness. And so my brain immediately jumped into, okay, what diet, what sleep, what supplements? And it started to go through the protocol, right? What vestibular exercises can I do? What exercises can I do to combat this? What about my sleep? Is it on point? Like, I go back through the fundamentals. But my nervous system during this whole thing has been amped up, right? Because the fear and the pulsing in your heart and the stomach and the churning and the feeling like your mind is going a mile a minute and your solar plexus and is going a mile a minute and your heartbeat is beating fast. And that's not mental, that's physiological. So it's what's happening to me after this virus. Now, there is water in my ears. I did have a major viral condition, pneumonia. So I am going to have fatigue. I am going to have vestibular disorders. I am going to have a lot of things, but because they're very dramatic and because my nervous system is involved, it gives me fear of living like this forever, having chronic fatigue syndrome back in my life, having brain fog forever, having this rocking feeling forever. And of course, even someone who's gone through it before and has had to heal many things before, including these and so many other, I forgot the magic. So I'm giving you the magic today. And the magic is to calm down, right? We don't need to do massive amounts of breathing exercises and meditation, though if you do, that's helpful. But what we do need to do is switch your mindset from a fear-based mindset, from a reactive mindset to like, I'm reacting to these symptoms. Because here's the thing, and this is as true for me as it is for you. You cannot do anything about the symptoms. The symptoms are the symptoms. You either have a reason for your symptoms, a physical reason. In my case, it could be the water in the ears. It might already be a pattern. So you have a physiological reason, an event, something that's happened that is giving you symptoms. Or your brain's reaction to the symptoms, which turns on your fight or flight nervous system and ramps up that anxious personality of somebody who dreads and says, oh no, and fear-based personalities, right? We all have this. Those of us who suffer with chronic illness, we all have the classic perfectionist and wanting to control things. And, we have these fear-based personalities where our nervous system is always more on a hair trigger. We're always triggered easily, and we can get into repetitive patterns and cycles where it feeds upon itself. A pain cycle feeds upon itself. A dizziness or vestibular disorder feeds upon itself, or a chronic fatigue syndrome feeds upon itself, right? Because we're so afraid of the symptom, therefore that spikes, and it just keeps circularly going. So we could have a physical reason, we could have a psychological reason, but usually we have both, okay? And often you have to remember that if the physical issue doesn't heal within 8 weeks, like a broken bone, like water in the ears, like anything, if it doesn't heal within 6 to 8 weeks, it's no longer physical. So we need to remember that. Then we know we're working with a pattern. So in my case, I'm like hopeful that it's still physical, but I'm certain it's part of a pattern as well. Because I lived with chronic illness for so long that my body's used to these patterns. And so I know for the first thing, and that I missed it, even though I have done this for people and I've done it for myself, I still missed it because the panic rises when you're dizzy and you can no longer place yourself in time and space. And when you're so exhausted that you cannot pull yourself out of bed, your anxiety, your fear, your thoughts about all the history, like what if, and oh my God, and you look back, it's all that trauma behind you, right? It's everything behind you where you say, what if that happens again? Oh no, here it comes. We brace against it. We what if about it. And then we look into our future and we say, how long is it gonna last? Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And we're already seeing years into the future with these symptoms. So the main thing that we have to do, whether it's physical or whether it's just patterns at this point, is ground ourselves. Take a breath. Relax your shoulders. Relax your stomach muscles. Let it out. Just remember to relax, like all day long. Just relax it. Because by relaxing, we teach our brain that even though the physical symptoms are happening, which we cannot do anything about, we're not afraid of those physical symptoms. When our body's in a relaxed state, when the physical symptoms are coming, compared to when it's in a heightened anxiety state, when the symptoms are coming. One ramps it up and we get into circular patterns of fear, and one brings it down and helps the body to realize it's safe. So really, even though I jumped into what vestibular exercises can I do, what can I do for my eyes, what can I do for my ears, what can I do for my balance, what diet was I gonna do? I was on a diet, what supplements am I taking, getting my sleep on point, trying to get sunlight, all the good things, right? But I was doing it from a state of, oh no, what if I gotta get on this, which is a fear state. And so that heightens everything. So what I realized and what I know I now need to do is calm and allow the symptoms. Because here's the thing, we can't do anything about the symptoms. The symptoms are the symptoms. They're there for a physical reason, or they're there from a subconscious pattern that is now there. They're real no matter what. They're real symptoms. And we cannot just think them off because they're either subconscious or there's a real physical reason. So we can't think them off. Like, I'm gonna think them off and then they're just gonna go away. I'm gonna think positive and they're gonna go away. That doesn't happen. The symptoms are there all the time. So our only power comes from how we react to them. And I say that again. We cannot change what's happening, although we want to, right? We deny it, we reject it, we push it away. We don't want it to be happening. We don't want to accept it, right? We're in resistance to them a lot of the times, or we're in fear or terror, or we respond with crying and we feel like a victim and we're hopeless. Okay, none of that is going to help us. The symptoms are the symptoms. They have no feelings. They have no emotions. There's no past history or no future what-ifing involved with them. They just are what they are. They're a physical something that's happening in your body. It is happening now. Your power is how you respond to those. You can tighten against them. You can resist against them. You can fall apart in the face of them. There's so many ways that people respond to these that aren't helping them. And I did it. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off the last 2 weeks, spiraling mentally. But once we realize, we get a hold of ourselves and we say, no, I cannot change the symptom, but I can change my reaction to the symptom. And I'm going to allow the symptoms. So just allow yourself like you would be sitting in a movie theater, okay? In a 3D movie theater, and they're just coming. They're coming at you. And you're just going to be in a relaxed state and let them pass through you. Just let them pass, let them go, let them move. And your only job is to not react to them with tension or stress or resistance or fear or hopelessness, whatever it is that you normally react to them in that pattern, right? And it's a deep, subconscious, biological reaction that comes, it's a deep need, right? Your body, maybe in my case, I'm thrown off balance. So my body is heightening the sensation and the fear around that to get me to sit down, to get me to notice that there's a problem, that I shouldn't continue to walk, I shouldn't push through. Or the fatigue, the excruciating fatigue, it's there to say, it's a danger signal. And it's there to say, sit down, rest, relax, get into bed, because there's something wrong, there's danger. So when we react to any physical symptom that we have, any emotional, psychological symptom, whatever the symptom, the real symptom that you feel in your body, when we react to that, okay, and we don't calmly allow it and remain like in an allowing state, like I can't change this, but I can change my reaction, and I want my reaction to be calm. I want to remind myself that I'm safe, because the alternative is that those symptoms become danger signals. And when subconsciously our body gets a danger signal, any of your symptoms, it forces you to lie back down in bed, to sit down, to find out what's going wrong, like legitimate danger signals. That's why your body slows you down and gives you all these. But we know that this can build patterns of resistance and opting out of life and feeling like you can't do anything and building a pattern. So we need to find a balance of, yes, like in my case, I just had the virus. I am fatigued. I do need rest. And I am dizzy. I do need to be careful. But I need to weigh that with like, no, I'm going to get up and I'm going to, no matter how crazy it makes me feel, do the dishes, clean the house, make my bed, walk around the kitchen, whatever it is, right? Rather than let my life shrink down smaller, I'm going to continue to keep a big life and breathe and relax and remind myself I'm safe and just do it slower. Just move slower. Not get caught up in the tension around it or the stress around it. Just move slower. Use it as a practice opportunity as I'm, loading the dishwasher and up and down and around. And it's heightening the balance issues. This is a practice time rather than doing yoga on the mat. This is the yoga, right? Just very conscious, like I'm moving, I'm bending. I feel the dizziness. Hey, dizziness, we're unloading the dishwasher now. This is great practice for your eyes. So instead of, exercises that I would do is like look at my finger, follow my finger, follow it up, follow it down, then hold the finger there and just move my eyes, follow it up and down. So that's an example of a vestibular exercise or an exercise for dizziness that I've been doing, but I can continue to have an expansive life and unload my dishwasher and just go into it saying, I know this is going to heighten my dizziness, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to use this as a practice opportunity. We're going to breathe. We're going to stay calm. We're going to remind ourselves that we're safe and that this is just my brain figuring out how to place myself in time and space because it's gotten thrown off. There's water in my ear. It needs to re-regulate. It needs to balance. And the fear of it will only make it worse. So we're gonna practice. And if I get really heightened when, a lot of things are happening and the family's buzzing around later and there's lots to do, I'm just gonna slow down. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna do one thing at a time. I might engage with not talking to them for a while and just focusing on the exercise and focusing on my concentration and when my body is fatigued, we have to remember we need to push through some of that, even though, like today, so those of you know that I go on walks. I've never missed my walk in 3 years. Well, in well over 3 years, I'm coming on more than 3.5. During this pneumonia, I did take it off, and I took 4 weeks off of my walk. And yesterday I went out and I got about 2 driveways before I felt on the verge of collapse. So when I felt on the verge of collapse, my fear went up and I turned around and I went home. I came into the house, I lied down in the bed, I panted for a while, I tried to calm my body down, and I thought, I can't even go on my walk. Today, I said, I'm going to go on a walk. And I'm gonna do all the way, not my regular walk, but I'm going to do 15 minutes one way, 15 minutes the other way. I have my spot marked out, and I'm going to do this, and I'm gonna move slowly. I'm gonna say kind things to myself. I'm going to reinforce that I'm safe and that the exhaustion is a warning signal. It's a danger signal, and I don't need to respond to it because I'm not in danger. I am going to be okay to walk. It just feels dangerous. It feels funny. It feels awful, but I can do it. I know I can do it. So I walked slowly. Partway there, I started to get a little bit nervous, and I reminded myself, there's the danger signal. Take a breath, calm down, remind yourself, because this is a pattern now. You can walk. You can push yourself past the point of what you did yesterday was almost collapse after 2 driveways into a heap of a full-on exhaustion episode, okay? I decided I wasn't gonna do that today and that I would remind my brain that it could walk. So I went for the walk. I did get partly nervous, calmed it down, kept going. I met my destination. I came back slowly. There was a slight incline. I really felt winded. I really felt like I might not be able to do it. So I just stopped for a few minutes and I breathed and I reminded myself, you can. Your body's in good shape. It's tired because of a virus. It's also scared because of your history, but you can do this. And we're not going to allow a danger signal to shrink my life. So therefore I kept going. I got home, and instead of collapsing on the bed, I just sat down where I am right now, took a few deep breaths, made a tea, and collected myself, gave myself a little bit of time to rest, not in bed, had a tea, and then I thought, okay, what can I do next? And slowly I got on with the day, moving slowly from activity to activity, reminding myself that this is today, this is not my forever. And this is how we bring our nervous system down. Because when we stay calm, even though we can't change the symptoms, but when we stay in the present, rather than the past, all that history, all the trauma, all how long it took before, and we worry about the future and all the things, and oh my God, it's never gonna go away, and we stay in the present, and we ground ourselves with kindness and compassion and messages of safety. And we just allow the symptoms to dance around us, to swirl around us, to come through us, and we don't react. We accept that they're here, and as we don't react, this is the power. We teach our brain that we're actually safe. And so any of it that is a subconscious pattern, any of it that is built on fear, after a period of doing this, 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, our brain, if we're consistent, starts to actually believe it and relax and say, oh, she's not worried about this danger signal. I guess she's fine. She's just continuing on. She's not afraid of these symptoms, these warning signals that we keep giving her. Maybe we don't need to give them to her anymore. And that's when it stops. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it's given you something to think about. So yes, I'm going to do all the other fundamentals. Yes, I'm going to work on my diet. Yes, I'm going to work on my supplements, my exercises, getting to bed on time, making sure I breathe fresh air and sunlight, and having but the biggest thing is the messages. These signals, consider all your symptoms signals being sent by the brain to alert you to danger. And if we don't react and respond to them, we keep it cool, we keep it level, we are going to teach our brain we don't need those signals anymore. It may take time, so we have to be consistent, but this is how it's done. So because this is nervous system related, fatigue, dizziness, brain fog, I know all of it, all of these symptoms is very, very obviously nervous system related. That the number one focus, even above diet, even above supplements, even above, everything, is my reaction and my response to the symptoms themselves. And I know that many of you are in these situations, and sometimes I forget. And so this has been, a horrible reminder. But I wanted to remind you what I missed over the last couple of weeks, which probably ramped this up into a pattern more than it needed to. And so it will be harder to unwind, but nothing's impossible. I had patterns for years and years and years that I unwound. So the brain is just on high alert when we feel awful or when we have symptoms that scare us. And it thinks it's doing us a favor, and we have to say, no, that favor, actually, we don't want it. And we teach the brain that we are safe and that we're not going to respond and react to the symptoms they're giving us. Therefore, eventually they will stop giving us the symptoms. So I just wanted to pass that along. I hope that this video has been helpful. I really hope it has. It's been helpful for me too, just to talk it through. And I did a lot of thinking. I did a lot of meditating on this, as all the crazy symptoms were going and my heartbeat. And it came to me. I remembered. I know what I need to do. And this is what you need to do too if you are in a state of a lot of symptoms, because you cannot control those symptoms, but you can definitely control your reaction, how you react, respond, think, and feel about them. So I hope it's been helpful, and I will see you in the next one.